Good morning. It is Brian Mitchell, B-Mitch, and I help lead our media entertainment practice here at Nutanix Unified Storage. Morning. It is day 2 of NAB Show 2024, and we're going to talk a bit about 2020 vision, or how we cure asset blindness. Gang, this is walking through a few items that you may know, but let's start with some questions, right? I'll get the brain jogged early morning here with a cup of coffee. Have you ever had media storage slowdowns that feel like this? Oh, our slowdown of media storage. Always good to have a nice chuckle in the morning. This is true though, right? It feels really much like your resolve, your color workflows, your transcoding starts to slow down, right? All right, let's keep going. Have we ever tried to clean up your studio's file systems? Does it feel kind of like this, where you stuff everything into that proverbial closet? You don't know what's out there. Who knows, right? Stuff from decades ago, VFX shots that used to live on LTO tape years ago. Oh, and what about improving content security, gang? What does this look like? Well, this cracks me up every time, right? Hey, didn't we buy that gift card for our CEO? Gang, if you agree with any of these questions, it's definitely time to ask more questions about your storage. So, introducing Nutanix Unified Storage for media and entertainment workflows. This gives you the ability to run multi-protocol, multi-volume, dedicated, or hyper-converged mode. What does this mean? Well, recently a customer came to us and said, look, I've got 100,000 VMs. I want to run them next to my storage, right? We can do that with that hyper-converged mode. Zero hop latency to the network. Meanwhile, you can also run this as dedicated mode as well. Either way, it's around speed, scale, and simplicity. What does this look like for a lot of these media services, right? Storage is table stakes these days, right? I want to be able to talk about what my asset lifecycle looks like. How do I protect that? How do I know what's out there? Then I want to protect that assets, whether it's one facility, multiple facilities across the globe. And finally, I need to be aware of how my content security practices look like, especially with, say, Trusted Partner Network, MPA, et cetera, et cetera. Again, we can do this across core, cloud, and even edge. One namespace. So, I get a lot of questions all the time about, okay, great. Nutanix Unified Storage sounds really cool, but how does this help my studio, my facility? Number one, we can speed those 4K DCI color grading and correction workflows. In fact, we actually will speed 8K DCI workflows. Not 4K, but up to 8K as well, up to 10 gigabits per second per node. Another way, scaling ProRes 422 to Quad 4 and beyond. This allows us the ability to work with multiple editors, artists, with Adobe Premiere, After Effects, etc. Again, great for a lot of broadcast workflows, as well as typical post-production or motion graphics. And finally, we're simplifying that asset management across the entire pipeline, whether it's on-prem, cloud, even remote facilities can benefit with controlling their media supply chain. So let's have some proof points, shall we? I love this one. This is something that a lot of people say, show me the proof, right? Line speed performance. Imagine, you're doing some color work and stuff slows down, right? I had one guy recently tell me, oh yeah, some really high-end talent out of Southern Cal said, look, I don't have time for this. The system's slowing down. I can't work. Call me when it's fixed. Again, no problems with line speed performance with unified storage. What about this? Density. You know, I work a lot out of New York, Midtown Manhattan, and guess what, gang? Real estate is at a premium. I've got to have the densest, most compact servers on-prem with that expensive real estate. Good news, we can pack over 500 terabytes per node into HDD or NVMe. And then finally, cost. You know, when we look at, numbers here, price per gig, price per terabyte, we're typically seeing a sliding scale, right? As you grow your cluster, the less expensive it gets. We're talking 25 cents a gig, right, for all flash, as well as even 10 cents a gig with those hybrid workflows. Gang, that is everything for 3 years. Hardware, software, support. Pretty good value, if you ask me. So, a lot of opportunities here to optimize your workflow, scale your pipeline, and do more with less. Well, this is all nice and well, but what about your assets? How do we deal with asset analytics, asset tiering, and asset security? Today, we're introducing Data Lens for workflows. Data Lens is a SaaS-based offering that allows you to run in files, objects, and even existing storage, such as your power scale from Dell EMC, formerly known as Isolot. Yes, we can actually track your assets in real time across these platforms. So let's talk about those 3 key areas. Number 1, asset tiering. When you look at tiering, oftentimes people say, wow, it's going to take a long time to retrieve from some sort of active archive or tape. Good news here is we can actually look at this coming off of on-prem or even in the cloud, going to an S3 bucket, whether it's an Amazon S3, Wasabi, or Azure Blob. Then when it's time to recall, no worries. It will literally have that pointer, that stub, for example, and the end user, the artist, the editor will just point to it and let the application do the rest. Recall that from storage. Again, seamless integration with your object storage from on-prem to cloud and back. This is really the easy button for tiering. We get a lot of challenges with other vendors saying, look, I've come from a third party. I have to do some sort of complicated scripting. I can't see what I have in AWS or in Azure. Gang, this is a way to sit there and look at folder by folder, what's out there, and how do I quickly retrieve it. Maybe it's 4K, 6K, 8K VFX plate. I've got to be able to pull that in from years ago. I don't want to keep that on primary, expensive flash storage. Again, this is the way to get that easy button. In fact, if I'm an artist, maybe I'm running in Nuke or Maya or others. If I'm on Windows, it literally is an attribute I can pull up. And look, right there, see where it says, hey, I've got a tiered file out there. Again, this is the easy button for asset tiering. All right. So what's next? Analytics. When a lot of people think of analytics, they think of the old days of emailing reports and, these clunky dashboards that are very static dashboards. Gang, this is where you can sit there and ask real questions about your assets. What's the oldest files out there? Who's the owner? Just the other day, we had one company come to us and say, wow, I ran this tool. I was amazed at how many people have full admin access. They have a policy which dictates that they cannot have full rights on every single folder, file, etc. The other one out here is Stuff like, what are my largest files? We had another customer look at us and they said, look, we have artists that will make copies of copies and copies of projects, 3, 4, 5 different copies. How do I at least archive that stuff so it's not sitting on that expensive flash storage? So with things like permission monitoring, we walked them through. Look, yes, there are full admin rights on this folder. You know, warning, warning. In other cases, they were looking at this going, hey, I can actually change permissions inside the tool as well. Again, great way to keep things very, very secure, even down to the point of looking at a risk score. I will literally run this tool across the shares and actually define what's risky and what's not so risky. Again, out-of-the-box functionality, fully included with unified storage and data lens for workflows. Now, wrapping things up, asset security. This is something that's become a really big topic recently. A lot of CIOs, CTOs, even, boards will lean in when we get to this section. This is a real impact, even on those workflows. One of the challenges here is we often don't know what's rolling out there. Security is a lot of layers, and your security posture actually matters even in, studio or facility. Why is this important? Because we've actually ran into several use cases where a BitLocker, ransomware signature was actually detected after we ran this, and it was dormant. It could have easily popped up weeks or months later. Locking your files and literally paying that Bitcoin ransom or restoring from backup. Gang, there's a better way, and this is how we can protect assets through real-time security and retrieving this in 15 minutes or less. So, next steps. What does this mean? Here's what I want you to do. Number 1, go to a web browser, type in test drive Nutanix. You'll literally have a test drive spun up in a few minutes, just on your web browser. This gives you that data lens for workflows, native test drive out of the box, ready to roll. No additional software required. Next, if you already have Nutanix Hyperconverged, great. Welcome to the team. We definitely want to let you know, guess what? You've got 1 terabyte included already. You are a unified storage customer. Let's talk after the session. And finally, with Data Lens for workflows, we're having a limited promotion running through the end of the year that basically says, look, you've got 1 free year out of 3 years, so buy 2, get 1 free. That way, you've got a year to kick the tires, test drive this, see how it interops with your workflows, your pipeline. So gang, that's all the time I've got. Everyone, have an excellent show, and thank you so much.